What's going on, guys? Hope you guys can hear me. We'll give it a few more minutes and then we can get started. Can you guys hear me well? Got a new mic. You guys wanted me to buy a mic. Finally, I got a bike. Got a mic, and hopefully, this audio is crisp. While we wait, please go ahead and hit the like button, guys, so that the stream ranks higher. Just spam that like button as much as you can. Today's session is going to be good. We'll give it a few more minutes and then get started. Yeah, new mic. So if you guys are just joining in, we'll get started in a few minutes. Give it like one more minute and then get started. Please hit the like button, guys, so that the YouTube algo ranks my stream higher. It'll help me do more of these. This channel keeps growing. We'll get started in a minute. So the way what I'm going to do is I'm just going to look at the market first, what happened today and what not, and then I'll just open it up to Q&A. We can talk about. There are some interesting questions. I'll just talk about that. No, I'm not going to review tape reading today because that's not a topic I can just cover just like that. It's a pretty extensive topic, and it's yeah, I'm not prepared for that today. Volume a little low. Volume's low, turn the volume up, man. All right, I think we can go ahead and get started. Welcome in, guys. Thank you for joining. So this is supposed to be the Stock Tuesdays with Unraveller, but Tuesday I was teaching at AMU, so I had to move this to Thursday. So what I want to do right now is I want to start going over some charts. Most interesting chart I like is Meta, which I'll cover today. So if you guys were in the chat, we were watching this. I told you guys this is one of the stronger names in the market. It's just so frustrating today because this is one of my main watches, and I personally caught some, but couldn't signal an entry on this. So what I was essentially watching was, right? So there's like two entries for this. One is about this 530 clearance. There's this level on 530. This was what I had on my watch. So you guys can see yesterday we had a lot of struggle in these areas, and then we kind of just sold off. We kind of based around this 520, 522, and then market was just basing here, right? Now, if this thing was going to sell to the bearish side, I was watching under 500 or under 510. But since market was strong, this thing decided to build. So early morning, we had a rejection off of this 520 area, the second candle. We broke this area. This is what I like to see on a breakout. First, get a natural failure off of an obvious level. So you can see here, this area here, right? So you can get a clean failure here. And then this candle here was the time. If you guys go to the chat and see, around 9:45 or something, I said load the meta calls. Now, if this next candle was a very small candle, we could have just gotten it on a retest. But unfortunately, this candle here went all the way from 522 to 527. It's a $5 candle, and it was like way too much. My contracts, I had some contracts and they were already up like 40-50% on this, right? Now, this pullback here, I was kind of expecting at least to get to this 524 so we can kind of define a $2 risk, but unfortunately that did not happen. We consolidated even more and hit 530. Now 530 is an obvious breakout level. You guys can see this is an area where we struggled. SPY was also struggling pretty much in these areas. If we go back to the SPY's chart, we just kept chopping for a while. Meta did the same thing. It kept chopping up and down, and then finally they decided to ended choppily. And then after hours, Google earnings, Meta, everything just ripping up 4%. And now we know why they were buying the way they did these past 2 days, and they were kept holding it. Unfortunately, we missed this trade. The trade that I caught today was Apple short. Now, I will tell you this. Okay, this is a trade I'm watching tomorrow for shorts. If you're in Honey Drip, you will most likely see me load these contracts tomorrow for puts. This is one of a weaker tape. Now, if you guys were in the chat, the first trade that I took on Apple, we had a pop above this 205, we failed, and I took my shot on the second candle here and all the way to 203. Now, 203, the reason I said there is a good chance we could hold here in reverse is because this is where we bounced pretty much big time the previous day, right? Now, the moment we bounced here and tried to reclaim here, I already knew market was going to rip, right? Because this was a weaker name and they were showing pretty strong sells. And the weakest name, if they did like a reclaim like that, there's a good chance that market was also going to push higher, and market basically ignored everything that was there and then straight up just pushed. It was insane today, honestly. But they did a lot of trickery here on Apple, and I'm pretty confident tomorrow they'll sell this, right? So the second trade I took was around here, I think so. We were up 10%, but then they kind of reversed this again. So I sold for, I think, a 7% loss or something like that. And then the moment we popped here, if you guys remember this 207 area, we started rejecting and I caught another 20% trade here. We sold runners green. And but you guys can see every time we pop, right, we sell. Every time we pop, we sell. Every time we pop, we sell. Until SPY decided to squeeze end of day. This thing also decided to squeeze, right? Now, you might think that this is a breakout, right? Now, tomorrow, maybe there's some good catalyst. It could very well turn into a breakout. But it is still within tolerance range. And compared to what SPY did today, which was a crazy green day, Apple's tape is still pretty weak, right? So, what I want to happen tomorrow is this levels to hold pretty much. And I want to see a gap down. Let me just try drawing this, okay? Now, my bias on this is pretty much based on the tape. But what I want to see happen tomorrow on a 0 to 80 day is maybe we get a gap like this and then we fail, right? If we fail like that, I want to see a base hold here around this 208 and then I'll take a shot, okay? So either a shot over this, when it pops back here, I'll take a shot like that. Or if we do gap down, right? There's a lot of things that can happen in the market. If we gap down, what I want to see happen is I want to see this gap down under this 207 area again. So you guys can see this 207 is a struggle, right? It's still supply. Whoever was selling here is still there, right? So if they can come out gap down under this 207 again, this again will become a major supply. So if we gap down here onto 206 or something like that, any pop close to 207, I'll short and then I'll ride the trend down. Okay. Now all of this will be invalidated if we break. I'm going to go to a bigger time frame now, right? All of this will be invalidated if we clear something like 210 to 11, right? Because this is where the most recent sellers have pretty much trapped all the longs, right? We had a breakout and you guys can see this candle here. This is where they were trapped. Now until all of this is cleared, Apple is still pretty weak tape wise, all right? Because you guys can see it's a downtrending action. This is a reversal. It's not fully done yet, right? Now today's close is a double-edged sword, right? Today tomorrow they could easily just gap this up and squeeze, or they're just luring more people in long, which is the more likely scenario based on what I've seen, based on what I see in the order flow, right? So if they push this higher, the game plan's invalidated. But if they hold, look at the levels, right? We're at 208 here, right? If they hold this level, As any sell under 207 to 206, this will become big supply here again, right? They have bagged a lot of longs here again, just like how they did it at 210, 211. They'll do that here, and then this thing will come down. Now, if supposedly we this thing gaps down or we missed an entry or something like that, right? What we can do is you guys can see this is the most recent line of support 205.30 or something. We could simply take a breakdown under 205 if that happens, right? Ideally, I want to take a reject here so that we can, I don't know, percentage wise, we can do a higher percentage return trade. But uh, we can't choose, right? Sometimes you just got to adapt it to what the market gives us. Another thing you want to pay attention today I was watching is VIX, right? Certain times during today, VIX was moving in parallel with SPY. I don't know if you guys noticed that. As SPY was going up, VIX was going up, and eventually SPY just squeezed. But tomorrow I want to pay close attention to this. What I want to see happen is us reclaiming today's low area here, this area here, right? If they can reclaim this 27, 28 area, market's volatility, market is pricing in again for another volatile weekend. Remember, tomorrow's a Friday. We're going to have a weekend here. There's a lot of things happening in the world right now. There could potentially be a deal between Russia, Ukraine, and Trump. I don't know what's happening there because there's like a lot of conflicting news saying there could be a deal, and then Trump's also criticizing Putin for attacking. There could potentially be a war between India and Pakistan. That could also escalate like crazy. I don't know if you guys know there was a terrorist attack in India, so that could happen. And this Trump is saying we're talking to China, but China is coming out and saying we have not yet spoken to Trump about any tariff deal. There have been zero deals signed so far. So over the weekend, anything can change. Tomorrow, anything overnight, anything can change. So we want to pay close attention to VIX tomorrow to see what the appetite is for holding stocks long over the weekend, right? Today's action, some of these names look really strong. Like I said today, Meta looked really strong. Another name that I was watching was Microsoft over. If you guys remember, I was trading Microsoft shots the day before, and then I said about 380 on my watch, it's a long, right? Again, this is another Meta story. 380 broke, but then we never really got that pullback to take the trade. We just had to get in here. But how could you get in here with three big candles here? You couldn't, right? You had to either buy the long here right off of 376, or you kind of just missed the entry, or you compromise risk reward and chase this a little. So either way, this is something I couldn't signal for the chat. Again, this is also a very strong name. But every time you approach this 390, 395, we have sold on Microsoft. It's the, again, similar situation. Until we clear 395, this is going to be a very tough customer um, uh, to trade, right? So we'll have to wait and see how this moves. But this is a strong name. Meta is a strong name. Netflix is a strong name. Netflix is a beauty chart last few days. And so these are all names that we could watch on longs. Apple, I like short. And another short I like is Nvidia. Now, Nvidia, what I want to see, you guys know this. This is a similar chart like Apple. If Nvidia loses this 105, I want to go short. Simple. I'm going to keep it simple. If Nvidia loses, gets back into the supply areas where we rejected here once, we rejected here twice. If this can come back down here, I like a short tomorrow, here going into the weekend. All right. Now, if Nvidia can clear this 108 area, right, it kind of approaches this consolidation area, so they could potentially push back higher. But I don't know. It all depends on how we open today. I'm not going to touch Nvidia if it goes higher to the long side, but if it does fail here, I do like it to the short side. This is also another tape. Maybe not yet today. Today I wasn't watching it, but today I was actually watching it about long about 104, which kind of did play out. But if tomorrow this shows weakness, I'll be interested in a short trade on this. And another good earnings was Google announced a buyback program also. I don't know where it's going to open tomorrow, but this is also a pretty nice chart. You guys can see this a lot of levels here playing out. Ideally, we'll see where tomorrow how we open, but around this 162, 163, I like it for a bounce if we do get there. The bigger problem is we have to be very careful in terms of liquidity to the long side over the weekend. A lot of people could be just rotating off profits ahead of the weekend, so we have to be very careful then. But this is something that we have to pay close attention to. Okay. Um, let's see here. What else? What else? What else? Microsoft, Apple, Tesla. Oh man, Tesla. Now, if you guys know about Tesla, this Tesla 261, 263 has been the Musk liquidation level, right? Every time we popped into this, we have sold. Now, Tesla is a very tricky customer. Tape had been weak, but we kept pushing. This is something that I like. If we can break under this 250 again, okay. So I'm not going to try to because this heavy short interest in this stock right now. It is demand, and we've consolidated here for such a long time. I don't want to mess around and short a resistance level that I've already been short at several times. So we want to see failure. If failure happens, maybe after a false breakout or something like that, I would like to go short on this. Okay, going to be keeping it simple. Longs, I'm watching Meta, Microsoft maybe, and Netflix, and Google, and shorts Nvidia, Tesla, and Apple, right? And obviously Spy. Depends based on what it does. So we have a few names to watch, long and short. Um, Overnight, a lot of things can change, and we'll see how future session goes. But this is how charts look like right now. Okay. Let's see some questions here. All right. You guys have any questions? Um, Let me open up some charts, and if you guys have questions, feel free to ask me, and I'll go over it. If you guys are just joining, please hit the like button, guys. It'll help me with the YouTube's algorithm. If you guys aren't subscribed, please subscribe. It'll help me do this a lot more often. I have finally purchased a mic. You guys can see this. I want to do a lot more of this going forward. Help you guys out as much as I can, and I'd appreciate your support. Um, yes, smash the like button. What level do we need to break the downtrend? Now, that's a good question. What we want to see happen is, so right now, I'll tell you this. People who were bearish, right? This is a spy chart. I'm going to just remove all the diagrams for now, drawings for now, right? So spy chart, will open the 4 hour. This will actually help you guys with charting in general, right? Now, this is the peak. This is the peak time when everyone was spooking in the market, right? Everyone was very scared. There's a fear was at all-time high, extreme fear, and VIX was basically shooting higher. And then we dropped to this 480 area, and we had a big bounce, right? And then that's when the big news dropped saying this could be potential no tariffs, pause on tariffs. And then they said fake news, and we sold that right back down under 500. And then, if you guys remember, there was one day when I said, guys, they're going to do something, something's happening in the tape. I said something like that. And then, fast forward a few years later, they came out and said that no tariffs again, like there's a pause. We're going to negotiate, whatever. And then what happened? That's when market pumped like crazy, and we went all the way back higher. And then they came out and said that, oh no, we have not paused. There's still tariffs, only some sectors are exempt or something like that. Again, market sold. And then what did they say? We are going to uh, still do negotiations with many countries. Now, this back and forth, what happened was, whenever we would get a positive headline, we would be at the lows. All right, we would be at the lows. Dollar was crashing, bonds were selling, right? So they would purposefully, I would definitely use purposefully, pump out positive headlines or a rumor or something, right, to save the market. Now, if you guys remember, there was one day where we almost limit down. If we just dropped one more dollar, they saved that by the bell. Now, so they lured a lot of buyers in at the lows or somewhere around here. And then, even when with negative news, they were kind of pumping positive headlines saying that we are working to make a deal. Okay. But so far, market has not seen any deals worked out since when? This is April 8th. Now it's always going to be April end. Zero deals worked out. Tariffs are still in play. In fact, diplomatic relations with many countries are actually taking a beating, right? The market's still holding optimism. Like, I don't know where it's coming from, but the tape is not confirming that optimism these last few days. All right. Now, that is usually a bad sign because they are making it look like this is the bottom. Okay. Now, the fear has reset because of these last few. You can see a lot of green candles here, but the tape has not yet set. If you zoom out a little, we are still very much in a downtrend. Now, if you look at this, right now, what this bounce has allowed is whoever didn't exit here, a lot of people didn't exit the smart money. This bounce here is going to allow them the opportunity to exit at a higher price level. Okay, people who didn't exit, the moment we hit major supply, which you guys can see, it's going to happen soon. This 550 560 area is huge on SPY. Okay, now it's going to allow these guys to exit at a much cheaper price, at a much better price. Now, if we see this propped up buying stop in these areas and these guys start to sell, we could see quick sells again. And the moment we start seeing quick sells, because of the recent fear in the market, VIX will not only just go 1 or 2 points, VIX will immediately shoot back up. Now, the market will also, maybe they're going to drop a negative headline too. We don't know, right? They dropped the positive headline at the low so that the market would bounce. But now that we've bounced, we can afford a little bit of selling, right? So they might pump a negative news again, right? Now, this and all is speculation, right? I don't really know what is going to happen. I'm just saying what is the scenario for market to sell. Now, from a technical standpoint, if we want to see a break in structure, we want to see a break below these levels here, right? So if I want to see under this, right, I want to see under this 530. Now, if we see under 530, this pullback structure would have broken. We would sell here, and then this would become supply. So basically, something like this. So this needs to happen, and then like that. Okay, this is what needs to happen. So the structure for the market right now is, you can see this here, this 531, 532. It's not perfect level. I'm just like guesstimating here, just plotting it just like that by visually seeing it. This area here was resistance. You can see this popped, consolidation, breakdown, and then rejection, and then break, hold, continuation. So this level has to break. So if you want to really switch bearish bias, if you want to swing puts, if you want to do something like that, wait for this level to break and define this as risk. Okay, until that happens, you don't know. The next supply area for SPY is around here, this area here, this 554 564 area. Now tomorrow if we pop here, maybe we get a rejection, I don't know. This is recorded, so maybe if this happens, maybe you can see, right? 554 555, that's an area to watch. But honestly, if it does clear something like that, and there could be potential squeezes also, because this is an area a lot of people are short, so we could get a little squeezy action also till this area, and then sellers take control and they reverse it. Okay, because once short squeeze is ended, there's no real buyers, sells can really start coming in. Okay, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. No point. These are the different scenarios. I'm not trying to predict. I'm just saying these are the different scenarios. We have long setups, we have short setup. Let's see what the order flow looks like tomorrow. VIX is a leading indicator of the market. VIX is not a leading indicator per se. Maybe if there's a divergence between equities and um, um, you know, there could be something. Someone says camera is frozen. Let me see. I don't know why it's frozen. Um, but can you guys hear me? I don't know why the camera is frozen. I don't know why it's frozen. I have to figure it out. Is there a refresh button or something? Someone said we don't need to see it. Okay, I can get rid of this. All right. All right. Let's go look at the next question here. How often do you update your levels? I mean, I don't really update it, man. It's just a day by day thing. Every day, what I do is I watch levels where this key action happens. So there's a breakout or a breakdown or a reversal, right? And those are the places where I like to plot my levels. So if I see, for example, today this 207, 206, 206.5, 207 on Apple, right? I really like to. I saw many rejections, many tricks and plays happening there. Today, after hours market ripped, they broke. But tomorrow, if they lose that again, sellers are in control. So I'll kind of think of it like that way. All right. how many contracts do you have in your starters and how many contracts do you have by the end of the full size position? I mean, if I'm being honest with you guys, if I start the week well, right? Now I'm just going to use throw in numbers here, okay? Let's say I start the week well and Monday I made $10,000, okay? Now Tuesday, if I really like a setup, what I like, and market is great, right? Sometimes I'll be on the offensive, be like, okay, my risk on this trade is going to be 5,000, meaning I'm willing to lose $5,000, right? Now, um, I will be aggressive on that, willing to lose $5,000. $5,000 risk is so if I say my stop loss is $2 in something, and let's say that's a 20%, 30% thing, I will size accordingly. Okay, so you need to play around. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just have a mental math on what that is for you, right? But if you start the week with a red day, right? My first goal would be to recover that loss, right? I would be really careful with the next setup I take, and I'll slowly try to recuperate that loss and then go from there. My position sizing on trades depends on a few things: how much risk I have for the week, and number two, how much I like the setup, right? And how much potential I see in the setup. Meaning, I don't want to do something when the market is choppy and when direction is questionable, right? If direction is pretty clear for me, okay, this is a downtrending there, it's an uptrending there, something like that, right? I might go back again. So let's say I take one scalp and I really like the setup. Okay, it's going to go back. I'm going to risk more here, and I'll have a wider stop or something like that, right? Again, it really is depends on a lot of factors. But what I don't recommend you guys doing is go in with the same kind of position sizing on all trades, because the moment you do that, you will lose, right? Don't do that. Have flexibility. Ask yourself what makes sense right now. If your average goal is to make 500,000 a day, sometimes it's okay to make 250 a day, right? And then you build a couple of days and then now you're up green, then you'll find a setup you really like. Maybe instead of 500 you'll make 1,000, right? Don't set daily expectations. Let the market dictate how much you'll make, and how, based on the setup, you can kind of tweak that. Do you think it's time to swing yet? No, man. I mean, you can swing. You can be smart about a lot of things and make money. But options wise, like if you bought puts, I know a lot of people did. Like, they at peak IV, when VIX was like crazy shooting, they bought puts right at the bottom, thinking we're going to go down even more, and then we popped, killed them, and then they bought calls, and then they got killed again, right? So you can't do stuff like that. Okay, once these markets reliance on tariffs goes away, even though you won't be able to catch the bottom or something like that, you are going to be able to make those trades. Okay, just don't, when there's too news reliant, do not try to do something crazy. Do you use market order, or do you use limit order? I mean, I personally just use market order. I know a lot of people are not going to like that, but I trade, like, I don't trade sus names, right? I trade SPY, I trade Meta, I trade Tesla, I trade, Microsoft. I trade those names with $10, $15 spreads. So I just hit the like button, and it's not sorry. I just hit the market buy button. I hit the like button. I was reading the chat, and uh, sometimes there's a little bit of slippage. Sometimes I get a bad fill, but not that bad, because the way I think about it is, if I want the move that I want to happen in the stock, maybe $5 or $10 slippage is not going to matter, right? So if I try to get Meta, for example, at 522, right, and Meta goes to 530, does it really matter if I get filled at $2 or 220? $20 does not matter in the grand scheme of things, right? It'll make sense when the stock moves in my favor, right? So that's what I'm talking about. But if you're doing swing trades and whatnot, sure, you can wait for your average and get filled. But I don't penny pinch, man. I don't like doing all of those things. Like, I just get filled. Even when I'm doing, if I want to get filled, I'll hit the ask. I will never like try to get like the best fill like this and that. I um, yeah. Why don't I see spy in your game plan? Because I want to see certain things before I take spy. Because a lot of times spy, uh, like I don't know, man. To like take today for example, spy. I'll open spy. Like, spy does not trade based on obvious levels. So if you see something obvious, so like you might think that, so that this is today's spy trade, right? You might think that, oh, this is a, like, I don't know, pre-market high. It's going to reject. It's going to reject here. Like, spy doesn't trade like that, right? Like, you have to be able to uh, uh, see what is happening in real time and then gauge market direction and whatnot. You're literally trying to, uh, like, let's say short or long something based on one chart. It's not something like that. You got to look at the market collectively. So this is SPY, right? All of these charts here are SPY. You want to see relative strength, weakness, and like some names and this and that, and then decide to see what SPY is going to do, right? And I also honestly watch order flow also. So if I don't see something sus or something very convicting, I can't just trade based off a level, right? I'll have a bias, but I want to see that being proven right. So today my bias honestly was, if SPY can break below this lows, it'll be bearish. Unless it does that, it's bullish. The only place we had was defined supply was this area here from previous day, 545, and I already told you guys yesterday this was key. Now what happened? We kept pushing, chopping. All this weakness, all it did was chop contracts, and then they popped it higher, and then they gave you a little reject, again false breakout, and then end up there they ripped. Now tomorrow, if they can get under this 545 again, sure, there's a bearish play valid there. But until that happens, in fact, I wouldn't even say 545. I'd say we want to see losing this there, this area here. If we can lose this just like we did the previous day, right? 542, 541. This is SPX 5420, if you guys remember, right? We want to see under this level here on SPY. This is when all these guys will become exit liquidity, right? When all of these guys become exit liquidity, these guys' stops are all here, and then new shorts would have entered the play. We'll get like an accelerated sell back to this 530 area. Now I already told you, if we lose this 530 area, market sentiment flips bearish. Okay, if I don't know if it will happen, but if it does happen, I already told you this 531 area, 530, this is big. If we lose this, my bias on the market is bearish, right? Until that happens, it's bullish, but if it happens, bearish. Okay. Can you show the process of exit, enter, and exit, think, or swim? The market is closed, man. I can't show you an example. Honestly, just YouTube. There's like plenty of traders that have active trader setup and whatnot. Just YouTube one of those guys, and you'll be able to, learn how to enter and exit. How to read the tape. So, in my personal mentorship, that's a 3-hour lesson, guys. So if you really want to get into the details of it, honestly, just go get into my wait list for that. It's in my link. Go get in the wait list for that. But it's a very tough lesson for me to just cover just like that, right? It's not something you honestly. I was saying a lot of things on voice today. Were you guys able to understand? Because it's not that easy for me to explain that without doing a lot of prep work and like giving it up. So if you're interested in learning about my system a lot detail, just go join my waitlist. Links in the my bio. And if and when I do that, I'll send you guys an acceptance. Okay, not forcing you to do anything. If you're interested, you can. If you don't have to. Okay. Honestly, all of that is for advanced traders. If you are just starting out new, don't even worry about the tape and whatnot. It's not necessary at all. You can trade just by playing levels and scalping off of key levels. Okay. Don't worry about tape trading. If you're just starting out, it's like learning to fly, right? Don't do that. Just learn the basics first, make some money, and then you can talk about it. Uh, you know, all of that, right? Tape reading and all of that. Yeah, the way I read tape is different. Okay. I got trapped on both sides towards SPY. Honestly, this is what I'll tell you, right? If market's giving you conflicting signals, right? I saw a lot of people doing like crazy things today, right? Like if you're like long or short or something, have your risk tight, guys. Like this is what I did. So if you guys saw me on Apple trade, I always wait for a reject to happen. Once it's failing, that's when I'll get in my trade. I might not be able to top tick something, but at least my risk is 10%, 12%, or something like that. Don't go trying to predict. So now in this chart on SPY today, I saw Penny like you like Mike did a very good stop out on SPY. He tried to short somewhere at the open and then he stopped out quickly. That was a good stop, right? But what was everyone else trying to do? Oh, let me just buy puts here. Let me just buy puts here. More puts, adding to my position. Average down, average down, average down. What are you doing? What if we get like some kind of trade news and then we get positive catalyst? What are you going to do? Right? I saw plenty of people like starting Monday, getting into puts. Oh, I'm buying SPY 500 puts, 480 puts. I'm going to keep averaging down. Based on what? Like, like, you just can't do that. And then what? Like, now all of those will be zero because SPY is $50 away from that entry, right? You can't do that, guys. You can't do that. You can't do that. If you do that, you are going to pay the price. So in that sense, if you want me to tell you how to trade SPY, have a clear and obvious level or whatever it is. Maybe wait for a false breakout. Maybe wait for a level to reject. Once you see that happening, then enter the trade. You can lose 10%. I don't mind. For example, 2 days ago, I took what is that? What short was that? Fuck, I keep forgetting. Nvidia short, right? I took Nvidia short here, this level. If you who remembers, put a me if you remember this trade in the chat, right? Put a me if you guys remember this. Now, I took this trade like three times, four times, I think so. With one time, I won 25%. Second time, I lost minus 8%. Third time, I won 25%. And the fourth time was the one. Eventually, it played out. Every time we got to this level, there was insane selling action. And I don't know what it was, who was trying to do what, but they would not allow Nvidia to go. Okay. And we sold. End of day, we sold. Everything sold, right? And then next day, what happened? This is after hours, positive catalyst. Today, market open and we cracked this area. So, in fact, if you were in I posted it in my game plan actually, not in Honey Drip, but I posted it in my game plan. If we can clear this area here, we are long. What happened? Market opened strong. We had one red candle and then we cleared here. This was actually a perfect retest. But compared to other names, Nvidia didn't move that cleanly. We went up, down. Still a weaker name. Just like how Apple is, Nvidia is still a weaker tape. Now, the next time we drop below this, we can sell. But honestly, I want to see it under this. You can see I've marked this level. You have 105.5. If it can get under this, I will try shorting tomorrow. Right? I don't know if it'll happen. I don't know if this, you can see Nvidia's up 1%, still moving higher. Right? I don't know if it'll happen. But if it happens, I'll short. Today, they kind of saved this. Look at this here. This after hours, they brought it back to 100 and then they saved it. So, but the next time we break here, I am almost certain. You guys already know I want Nvidia at 80, 75, 80 for my long term, right? I really want Nvidia there. Hopefully we get it. But until that happens, I'm not getting exposure in this particular stock. I hope we get it. I don't know. Let's see more questions. What indicators do you use? I use the moving average clouds, and then which is what you see here. I use VWAP and I use the 21 EMA. That's it. What strategies beginner traders should learn? Um, Levels. Try to play resistance, support levels, breaks, and holds, and then or reversals. You can play that. That is the easiest way for you to like trade. Wait for clean levels to break. Wait for hourly candle closes. Wait for trend to form. Play retest. You can do that. But that's the only thing I will say. Don't try to trade, be cute, and try to nail a top or a bottom or something like that. You will be right sometimes. You'll make crazy money, but the times you are wrong, you'll lose big. Assuming you don't follow stocks. What about Netflix equity? I have no idea right now about Netflix. Netflix is it's overvalued. I think they'll do a stock split soon. To be honest, I think they'll probably let it run to like 1200 or 1300, and then they'll announce a stock split. When that happens, yeah, you can. We'll see. Mm, please allow super chats. I don't think I'm eligible for that, man. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and then maybe I'll soon be eligible for all of that. I just started YouTube, They don't allow me to do a lot of things. Just try to hit the like, hit the subscribe, post a lot of comments. Maybe it'll help me, and then it'll allow me to do all of that. 5 EMA and 8 EMA, are they good? Yes, they are very good on clean, strong trending days. So if you pick a stock that's like really strong, I want to see which stock is strong today. Look at this, Netflix, right? Very strong open. First candle was crazy. Honestly, should have just caught a trade. I didn't this day I caught it. I didn't catch it here. I caught it last few days. Today I didn't catch it. Today I was busy with other names, right? But once we broke, all it did was trade with the EMS here. All it did was trade with the EMS the whole day. Okay. Now, towards the end of the day, there was a little bit of momentum weakness, but for the most part, it was trading the whole day. Honestly, if you guys want to learn a trick, have the 10-minute chart open. All right. So once you see a clean, strong trending day, take a trade and have the 10-minute trend as your stop. Okay. It will allow you to stay in the trade a long time, right? I do this when the market is really trending and I have wider stops. So, for example, if this is something I get, right? So, I'd say I enter the trade, like let's say over here, somewhere around here, 1068 on Netflix. I say this is the most recent. And let's say we break the highs here. All right. So what I would do is, this is the first high, this is the pullback, this is the breakout, right? I would enter my trade around here and I would have like a wider stop and I with the intention to average down, right? So in this situation, the trend held, and look at this. From here, it went all the way high here, and 10-minute trend didn't break here also, right? It went high here, and only here 10-minute trend broke, which is at 1094. So if I enter at 1076, 1094, I'd be able to get out, right? This is a trick for you guys when the market eventually starts trending. Um, Again, I can't signal these kinds of trades to the chart because I'll wait for the break to happen and then I'll enter with intention to average down. Now, I personally have a bigger account, right? If I have a wide risk tolerance for the day, I'll be able to really size in and build a position and then take, once I have a bigger size, right? Even 20%, 30%, if it breaks high and gets me 20, 30%, right? That's a big position for me. Let's say I have, hypothetically, let's say I just put like 10K into this trade. And let's say this thing pops like 30, 40, 40%, 50%. That's still 5K for me. Okay. And then I'll take trims and then I'll move on. But if it gives me a pullback and let's say instead of 10K, I'm able to build a 30K position, 40K position, right? And then it pops 10% or 20% for me. That's still a bigger gain than the 5K for me, right? So a lot of people can't trade like this, right? But I can. And this is something I'm not saying to flex, but that's the possibilities for you once you build your account size a little bit bigger. Okay. So work, be disciplined now, take those small gain days when you can. And once your account gets bigger, you can build position and take positions with wider stops and ride trends. That is the ultimate, that should be the ultimate goals for you. Okay. Um, Can you look at Meta? Man, how many times do I look at Meta, man? I've been looking at Meta for such a long time. Uh, yeah, this is the area we want to see tomorrow. This 545 area, if it comes, we can take a bounce potentially. It's still a strong name, but I don't know if it'll happen. We'll see the way it's going. Tomorrow we'll see. I want to see what happens after hours. It's up 4% today. So ideally 50% retracement of this is down $10. So 445. This is the area we want to see, right? I'm just doing mental math based on how algos will think. Okay, so it's a 4% up there. So it's $21 up, give or take minus $11. So 443 is the bounce area around this 443, 444. See, I just did math. There was a level there, right? So this is where 50% retracement of the gap up is where typically you want to. Again, I'm not do plotting levels here. I'm not applying my bounce strategy here, but this is the area of interest. Okay. Tomorrow you'll have it. You'll see it on my watch list. All right. Um, how do you be bullish or bearish at a macro key level? I personally rely on a level to fail or sentiment to flip a false breakout and order flow. That's how I do based on. So right now I told you it's bullish, but if SPY loses 545, we could see a sell tomorrow back again to 550, and if we lose, sorry, 540. But for sentiment to shift, we need a break under this. I'm looking at meta chart and saying SPY. We need to see a break under this 530. All right. So right now it's at 545. But if we can get back down here and then lose this 530, right? That is where the area of interest is. Okay, 548 right now. We need to first get under 545 and then go from there. For bullish, I don't really say bullish. So I think these are the supply here. Maybe if we pop here, maybe we can take a bounce off of this 550, right? But if 550 fails, again we could go short here. Like these are like bi-directional levels here. You can go long, you can go short, but common sense will tell you that the first time we pop to this area, there's going to be a sell. Okay, so you don't want to be caught unless there's a catalyst and gap up. You don't want to be caught long at supply. Okay. Um, I'm not profitable yet, but should I continue to deposit and build my account size? I mean, J Boogie DTB. What I would say is learn first and then deposit money. If you're not profitable now, depositing more money is not going to fix the issue. In fact, you'll just lose more money. Figure out what you're doing wrong. Try to come up with a system. Maybe paper trade for a while, right? Try to come up with a system and show some consistency, and see if you're able to manage with that. Once you feel like you know what you're doing and manage how to manage red days, green days, and whatnot, then you can go ahead and fund your money, fund your account, and then take trades. Don't be in a rush to fund money when you don't know what you're doing, or when you're losing money, when you're on a losing streak. Don't think you can just fund your way out of that. Figure out what the root cause is, address the disease, um, and then fund your account. I feel like the admins go on intuition now. I mean, trading is intuition, man. But I do post my game plan and everything. I was watching Meta today, Microsoft on watch. It's just that they couldn't find setups, right? So I could only trade setups that were my secondary, tertiary watches today. My main setup today was Meta, and then Microsoft. Missed that, so I had to improvise and take other trades that gave better risk reward. Zero DT, how much should you risk? Zero DTE, you cannot, especially during high volatile conditions, you can't have 10% risk. I know a lot of people like 10%, 15% stops, but you just can't do that. So instead, what you can do is try to have 30, 40% stops and reduce position size. And if you really catch a trend, you'll easily make 100% on a zero DTE trade. Okay. So reduce your size, try to get bigger percentage wins. And even if you do smaller percentage wins, you can, cash flow is good. In I me personally, last month and a half, 2 months, I have been very risk off on Fridays. I don't really expect good volume action when there is literally wars happening all around the world, and there's a trade war, there's a tariff thing. It's just it's just messy. There's OPEX, there's a lot of press conferences, right? Like these guys are just driving me nuts with all the back and forth and tweets and this and that. It's like, man, I don't want to be knowing all of this bullshit, but I feel like I don't want to be trading just looking at the charts. But they make me want to be an economist. They're making me think too much. They're making me do a lot of things, and like I want to give my brain a rest. I don't want to think like that. I don't want to see what this guy is saying, that guy is saying. It's just a whole bunch of nonsense. I just hate trading like that. And that's why, for that reason, I'm being a little bit more cautious right now. Doesn't matter what your setup or chart or my little lines is in the chart. If news drops, all of this doesn't matter. Technicals don't mean jack shit when news and algo pumps everything. Okay, don't think your charts are great as it's not. It won't beat an algo. It won't beat news. It is pointless, right? Right now, market seems bullish, but one bearish news, market flips. You may say, "Oh no, it was bullish yesterday." Doesn't matter, right? What is bullish today, tomorrow you could be in exit liquidity for someone, right? So it's you just gotta be very nimble and very. How many times in the honey drip have you guys seen me be like, I did it like last week or something. First, I got meta calls, and then I said, "Oh my God, tape is so weak, market's going to dump," and market basically dropped 25 points, right? And I switched to meta puts, and meta puts did like 400%. Who remembers that day? Spy was at 520 something, and then it dropped to like 500 or something like that. It was like crazy. Meta did same thing, $50 drop, right? So you have to be nimble. Just because you are do something, you can't be married to one side, right? So today, like I was like very very tight in all of my trades. I had like 10% risk on all of my Apple scalps. Made 20%, double my risk. Okay, I'm out. Trail stop, break even, right? This is how you need to be trading. Like if the biggest skill is switching bias. The more experience you get, that is the thing you'll do. Okay, something's going okay. You need to be able to think in both ways. Okay, this is long, this is short. Okay, if market flips, I'm going to do this. If market goes, I'll go this. Right? Need to be able to be switch like that, and that's easier said than done. When you're in a trade, you're trying to build conviction in one side, right? So to be able to throw that out of the window and then switch on the other side is a very and important skill, and also difficult skill. Rav, can you trade for me? No, man, I can't trade for you. Um, um, what else? What else? Man, if you guys are in HD, please stop making every morning live trading session a therapy session, man. I feel like I'm being a personal therapist every day. Be calm, guys. Don't panic. Don't have fear. You guys are like, oh my god. I feel like I age 10 years when you guys stress and I read those comments. Do not, do not. I feel like you guys want me to crash out every day. Oh man. When are you starting a hedge fund? Never. I will never start a hedge fund. It's pointless. I made my money already. I trade with my money. I'm happy with it. That's it. I don't want to deal with anyone. If you're just joining in, please hit the like button, guys, and subscribe to the channel. Again, I hate saying this. I feel like I'm annoying as hell, but apparently that's what I should do. That's what Brett told me to do. So please do. All right, let's look at some more questions and then we can call it a day. I wanna take some rest and come back tomorrow. We're gonna nail that Apple shot tomorrow. I have a feeling. Okay, let's see what we can do. Um, Favorite mentee nor Kyle got cooked today. Don't worry, man. A lot of people got cooked. Everyone gets cooked in this market. Another advice I'll give you: don't go trading all day, guys. Catch one trade, two trades, and be done. Holy shit, man! I feel like I got to keep telling that. I The longer you stay, you're gonna make up ideas in your head. I saw so many people and hundreds. Oh man, market's gonna crash. Let's buy puts here. Let's buy puts here. Let's buy. All got smoked. The thing is, if market's actually moving, it will move. It's up, down, up, down. That's your cue that it's not gonna happen, right? Or tomorrow it might happen. Just don't trade the whole day, man. Why are you burning yourself out? Don't do that. Over trading, oh my god. The first 2 hours you didn't do shit, then how can you expect like market immediately to don't do it. It's just too much. I keep telling you guys, but like you guys think that I don't want you guys to make money. If you trade the whole day every day, you are going to over trade and give back gains, and uh, it doesn't matter how many times you win. The one time you lose, you're going to lose money. What price are you shorting Apple? I just went over it, but I'll go over it 1 hour, one more time, and then we'll talk about it. This is what I want to happen. Either we false break out, right, and we see failure, we take that. Otherwise, if we just sell into the open, we can take this 208, this pre-market area, after hours area, we short this 208 here. Or if we just open red, right, if we open deep red, we can always take 206, 207, right? It doesn't matter where, right? We know our supply. So this is one supply, right? This is another supply, and this is another supply. There's three supply zones here, right? What today confirmed is this in the tape. This area here is Fugazi. This is what I kept telling you guys today. I mean, this and in this area here, right? Every time we we pop, sellers, real sellers take control. But every time we drop here, the moment it looks like, oh my god, this is it. That's it. Market's gonna crash. Out of nowhere, sentiment would flip on the tape, and you would see those sellers who were selling, boom, disappeared. Don't ask me why, but that is what was happening. It was probably an algo, and the reason you can kind of tell it is an algo because they didn't want the market to drop today, right? You saw SPY. Apple is not going to sell when SPY is strong, right? SPY keeps pushing, but Apple kept keeping, and then like end of day when Apple SPY ripped, this thing also popped. But you guys can see out of every name that was green after hours, Apple's still selling. It's not selling a lot, but it's selling $1. 0.6262 cents. Now, SPY starts taking a little red, this will be the first name to sell. As long as it doesn't break this 211 area. If 211 breaks, this could turn into a squeeze move. This area, here, 211, sorry, 212. 211, 212, this is the area that we don't want to see break. Okay, if this breaks, all these guys got relief, whoever like got caught here, and we can, they'll probably re-invite new longs. This is a low volume node area, so we're going to pop to 225. Okay, so that's what's going to happen. All right, I think we can call it a day here, guys. Thank you for joining. I'm going to call it like a few minutes early, but we'll do it again soon. Next time, we'll do a little bit more reviews, and I'll actually teach you guys some tips and tricks. Right, the way I'm going to host this is it won't be like end up, but anything, any tips and tricks about like certain strategies or entry strategies or something like that, I'll try to teach you that. Okay, that's what I want to do. I want to do like, let's say I want to do a reversal trade or a failure trade or something like that. I want to teach you certain specific trades and entry and exits so that you can like apply it. Okay. um, Again, before I close, please hit the like button, subscribe button, leave a lot of comments, good comments, no bad comments. Okay. And I'll see you guys soon. Thank you guys, thank you for joining. Have a great night.